Hello and welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports. And today we're going to do a wrap up of the week of videos. Um, I think GCN does like, oh, coming up Tuesday we got this, coming up Wednesday we got that. I can't do that because I never know what I'm going to do. My content is pretty much organic, as in what's happening in my shop and what's happening that I wish to talk to you about. So it's just all kinds of random things that happen, a day in the life kind of thing too. So I think it makes more sense for me to tell you at the end of the week what you might have missed. So I posted 6 videos this week. I'm up to 1,083 videos on this channel. So there is a huge back catalog if anyone is ever bored. Deserted Island, you've got, 1,000 plus videos to watch. But a couple of things that came up, and I do want to do some reaction videos, just haven't had the time. First was on braking, how to properly brake. And, if you missed that video, I'll give you I'll crystallize it for you right away. Front brake, most powerful brake, use it. And the rear brake is pretty much worthless. So there's that. But there's a video, much longer discussion, and there's some comments. And so if you want to hear more of my opinions, if anyone said anything about rear brake first or anything like that, you're wrong. You're completely wrong. It's absolutely worthless to use that rear brake, especially as your first line of defense. Um, Also, I need my readers. I thought I could read this without them, but I can't. There was also a lot of controversy with a gentleman who brought in a 650C wheel-sized bike. He's 83 years old, really short head tube, steep seat tube angle. And I said, you need a new bike. That doesn't mean it's a brand new bike. It just means you need a different bike, new bike, because you're not going to be able to squeeze yourself into this geometry. It's a 650 bike. So the bike is really low. You put a 700 wheel size on it, and now the whole bike starts to come up. He's 5'6", so there's just no need for him to try to make himself fit on this 650C bike. Quality and availability of wheels and tires and stuff like that, it's just not out there. It's different from 650B. So please be aware of that. 650B is very popular. It's very good for gravel and mountain biking, but not for road. It just doesn't, not for this particular bike. All right. The other couple of other videos. Oh, I took my Mentee out on a ride, and I was super impressed by him getting through this course. It was about a 50 miler with about 5,000 feet of climbing. So, it was just the typical hills that Jess and I like to ride in. And he did great considering he's never done 5,000 feet of climbing before. And we're still working on his nutrition. He was at about 200 calories per hour. I think he should raise that up a little bit. We're going to get him on some Rev Energy eventually. He did try it the week before and he said, wow, it helped a lot. But that was only one serving. We need to have him fueling throughout the entire day. It was over 4 hours of riding, and I just don't think he fueled enough. But I need to do a separate video about that. But some things that need work is his cadence. He's in his big ring too long on a climb, and his cadence is really, really slow. And it's a 50-34 compact crankset. So I struggle with people having that crankset because if you're a fairly strong rider, you end up in the big ring too long because the 34 seems too easy on a climb. And he's got a 34 cassette in the back. So 34-34 just seems too easy to ride in. But I'll do a debrief on our ride. But I did a saddle height check for him out on the road, and again, this was a very unscientific method. And in the shop, we do something completely different in a static um, um, bike fitting stand situation. But this is just something you're out on the road, you can just check. But I'd already been watching him for about 2 hours. I knew his saddle was too low. Let's see. Bike sizing. I did a reaction video on Russ from Pathless Pedaled, which is a great channel. Go give him a like. Go give him a sub. Just a lot of good stuff on his channel. And basically was talking about, do you size up? Do you size down? And I'm like, well, it depends, right? So go look at that video. There's plenty of commentary down below as well. We did a bike profile on a Rodeo Labs, and I kept calling it Radio because there's a BMX brand of bikes that I sell that's Radio, but it's Rodeo Labs, a Thai bike of Flaanimal 5.0, and just really well built out bike with 2.4 700 tires on it. So it's a monster truck, if you will. And then side note, that gentleman ended up buying a Ritchey breakaway frame from me. We'll have to hash out how he's going to build it. We wanted to go campy, then maybe Shimano, and so we're going back and forth. And not everything is available all the time. And maybe that's another video I should do. But bike industry 2025, you have to have patience when you are looking to buy componentry, wheels, or whatever. I think everyone, the pendulum swung widely to one direction after COVID, and there was these huge glut of inventory out there. I mean, Specialized was discounting bikes left and right, and so many of these other brands, and Trek was, reducing their SKUs. And why? Because they had too much inventory. And now, 3 years, I think like 2021, 22, 3 years from that, the pendulum has swung the other way now. There isn't that much inventory in the system. And especially things that are niche, which is what I like to do. My builds or my things are fairly niche. They're not the common run-of-the-mill bikes or componentry or saddles or shoes, right? So, you live and die by the sword, as they say. Also had a video with Paul, and Paul bought a Ritchey Road Logic for me, Ultegra build, with head wheels and all that. And he came through to buy more energy product because he's already purchased a couple of times. And this time he left with 3 containers because I don't want to live without it. Those were his words. So you'll see it on the video. But I did a long-term review. So he's had the bike about 4 months now. And it'd be, if you're interested, that is a good video, because that is a real life customer who purchased a bike, a Ritchey Road Logic from me, and you can hear how he feels and what his experience has been since he purchased his bike. And then last night, John and Tommy and I, so 3 of us, did a podcast that I want to start doing on a weekly basis, but everyone's busy, so we'll see how that goes. None of us are YouTubers. We're people who work, have lives, have families, and so then we do this YouTube on the side. So we don't have a set date for all of it to happen. But we did about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, 35 minutes or so. I'll have to do some editing here and there, but Tommy is a gentleman who is riding with a pacemaker, and he's doing some really, really amazing things. And he's so humble and he's so gracious. And so we shot a podcast with him yesterday. So I'll do a little bit of editing and post that up. But anyway, that's what's been going on. And then also on that podcast, we talked about Waterford, we talked about Campagnolo, 13 speed spy photos, if you will, and the fact that, well, I signed up for a 1200K in a month's time. So I got to figure out how to get enough miles so that mentally I feel confident enough that I've done the preparation for a 1200K. So that's 750 plus miles. And it's in Colorado. I believe it's called the Front Range 1200K. So there's that. And then today, a gentleman came by and picked up his 59 Road Logic. Now, these are getting more and more rare. If you want a Road Logic, you got to jump at the chance as soon as they're available because they sell out really, really quickly. And I believe he bought the last of the 59s. I think I have the last of the 57s. And it's 4 o'clock. And the 55 as well. So I think I've got one of the last ones. I just purchased it. So if you need any of those, contact me. But anyway, that is all for today. Take a look at those videos. I'll put the links down below in the description of this video. And have at it. Have some comments. And love to hear from you folks. Anyway, that is all for today. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you up the road.